My name is Roberta Woodgate, and I am a professor with the University of Manitoba and the CIHR Applied Chair in Reproductive, Child and Youth Health Services and Policy Research. Engage is the name of my research program that represents my dynamic approach to involve children, youth, and families and interact with clinicians, caregivers, researchers, and decision makers in the research process, and to be innovative in the exchange of knowledge. With funding from the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, my colleagues and I conducted a study that aimed to understand the ways that Canadian families with children with complex care needs participate in everyday life. Participation in everyday life is critical to having a good quality of life and sense of well-being. 40 families took part in the study between 2009 and 2011 and shared with us their ideas of participation. And what we heard from families was an understanding of participation as a dynamic and reciprocal social process of involvement in being with others, of which a crucial part was feeling and being accepted and a feeling of being known. Here's just a few of these important stories.
To me, having a life means to not only be included in like a community or a group or have friends, but also be accepted in it for like you, not have to change or just because you're different. So I think that to me is what having a life means.
Having a life means, well, having choices, being able to run with those choices, having opportunities, being social, being part of something bigger than just you. And I think for someone with physical challenges, that's really important, that they feel that they belong, that they have those opportunities. And I think with Daniel and with our family, we've been able to provide, well, like we said, we lived the way we lived before he was born. We did the things we did. We included him into our life. And
having a life is not being defined by your physical challenges,
Absolutely.
Being able to do things that everyone else does. So that's not limiting what you can do or where you can go or
That's right.
things you can do.
I believe there was, because there were times when I did feel isolated. I think probably where it most stood out was when Beth became school-aged and was attending schools, and you'd be in the schoolyard with the other parents and they would be discussing their child is participating in this sport or this activity, or they were planning play dates, and I knew Beth would never be included in those situations. So I think that was the worst, was that feeling of isolation, because I never really got to know the other parents, because Beth was never included in that circle.
Everybody has their own particular talents and deficiencies in what they do. And it's very easy to look at a child like Beth and see her global status, which is, low IQ and she's a little unsteady and all of those kinds of things. And just sort of say that she probably can't do very much, but she has some tremendous capabilities, and I think that kind of gets lost to people as they see the deficiencies. She's wonderful with young people. She goes and volunteers. Even this morning she was at the YMCA child minding at their facility for an hour or two this morning. Took her own bus to get there.
Mary has more joy and more mischief and more personality, more courage, and probably tries harder than anyone I've ever met in my life. So we're very proud and feel very blessed to have Mary as our daughter.
Mary is 17 now, which means that she's had 17 birthdays, and probably about 13 of those birthdays we've had a party for her, and we've sent out invitations, and kids have come. Last few years we've done it at Academy Bowling Lanes because they have a different equipment that she can do bowling there, which is wonderful. It means she's part of her own birthday party. But during that same time period, Mary's been invited to
one child who when she had birthday parties invited Mary. That's it. In all of Mary's life, only one kid has ever invited her to a birthday party.
And if there's any burden, lots of times it's not coming from Mary, it's coming from the other entities around that might not understand it or don't give us readily what we need to get through. Or there's other challenges as far as, like, even if it's something as simple in a sense as our house, that the bathroom is so small that we can get in, but Mary can't get in. And we know that there's new houses being built today with the same problems there, that if people could build bathrooms that are the right size for a future disability, it'd be so much easier.
If only people knew how wonderful Mary was, and although they may not think she has much of a quality of life, how much she has taught us and gives to this world, they would be astounded.
The family stories raise questions of societal obligations to promote meaningful participation and lend support for further improvements that may enrich the lives of families with children with complex care needs.